Hey there, first grade. How's everybody doing today? And welcome back to another remote learning math lesson with Mr. Enzi. Today, we're going to take another look at our two-dimensional shapes. And we're also going to take a closer look at the attributes which make all of our shapes the same or different. For today's lesson, you are going to need your shape attribute web. So you're going to want to find your shape attribute web. Once you find it, make sure you place that right inside your sheet protector, because I am ready to shrink myself into the corner. Today we are going to be doing grade 1 lesson 7.7, defining and non-defining attributes. And you will need your shape attribute math mat placed inside your sheet protector. So let's start with a review. We have been learning about the word attribute. Let's say that word, attribute, 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 attribute. And we learned that the attribute is a property of an object or a person. It's something that you can say it has, right? It could have so many sides. It could have so many corners. It could be a certain color. We can have attributes for people. We can have attributes for shapes. Let's take a look at some of my shapes. I have some shapes here. What do you notice about these shapes? Who can tell me something about these shapes? Does anybody know the name of all of these shapes? Well, all of these shapes are called triangles. And they're all called triangles because they have something in common. They all have this in common. Every triangle has this. Did you say that every triangle has 1, 2, 3 sides? 1, 2, 3 sides? 1, 2, 3 sides. That makes those triangles the same. Now, the triangles also have something that makes them all different. When I look at each one, I can see that they're all different in a couple of ways. One of the ways that they're different is they're all different colors. This triangle is blue. This triangle has lines on it. This triangle's white. So we can look at attributes that a shape might share, or attributes that might make the shapes different. And those attributes have special names. We call them defining and non-defining attributes. Let's say those words. Defining, defining, non-defining, non-defining. Now, a defining attribute is always true. Every single shape will share this. A non-defining attribute, it's sometimes true. It could happen, and it might not happen. So, if we took a look at defining attributes, attributes that are always true, well, with our 3 shapes, we already said every shape had 3 sides. So a defining attribute, all triangles have 3 sides. That's true for all triangles. Every triangle has 3 sides. That's a defining attribute. It's always true. These 3 triangles also all share something else. What do they all share that makes them the same? They all have 3 corners. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So all triangles have 3 sides, but they also have 3 corners. Now, a fancy name for a corner is a vertex. So we can say that our triangles have 3 corners, or they have 3 vertices. Vertices. A vertex is a corner. Vertices are more than one corner. Now, the triangles all share something else. Every one of these triangles is closed. If I was inside the shape, I wouldn't be able to escape it. I like to think of if I had a little doggy inside. The dog would not be able to escape. There's no doors, there's no openings. And we say that all triangles are closed. And they're the defining attributes of a triangle. Now, notice non-defining means that it's sometimes true. Some triangles might be. Well, let's take a look. What makes these triangles different? And we already said that they're different colors. So some triangles might be a different color. That's non-defining. Triangles can be any color you want them to be, but they must have 3 sides, 3 corners, and they must be closed. Now, triangles also can be different another way. How else are these triangles different? Oh, I see a medium triangle, a big triangle, and a little triangle. So sometimes triangles might be a different color, but they also might be a different size. Size is non-defining. It's sometimes true. They could be large, they could be medium, or they could be small. So sometimes triangles are different sizes. There's one other thing I noticed that's different. Look at the points on my triangle. My points can point in different ways. So for another non-defining triangle, non-defining attribute is the points can be in different spots. So we don't always have to have a triangle that looks exactly the same. The points can go to the top. The point can go to the side. The point can go on a diagonal. A triangle can look different. And they are the non-defining attributes. Now, let's take a look at some other shapes that I have. Here are 4 more shapes. Look at these shapes. Does anybody know the name of these shapes? All of these shapes are called rectangles. Now, I know that some of you are raising your hand right now and they're saying, wait a second, this shape looks like a square. Well, you're right, that shape is a square, but it's also a rectangle, and we're going to learn why. All of these shapes have something in common. What do all of these shapes have in common? They all have 4 sides. So for my defining attribute, which means always true, all rectangles have 4 sides? What else do all of these rectangles have? Well, all these rectangles also have 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So rectangles must have 4 corners. It's always true. There's one other thing that's always true about a rectangle. And this is new. We haven't talked about this before. But a rectangle must have a square corner. Look at the corners of our rectangles. The corners of the rectangles are squares. That is a defining attribute of every rectangle. It must have a square corner. Look at that. Every corner must be a square corner. Even this rectangle here. It's a square corner. Look at that. My square fits right into it. There it is. It's a square corner. Every corner on a rectangle is a square corner. This one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So another defining attribute, oh boy, there we go, square corner, is that every rectangle must have square corners. Now, there's non-defining attributes also. That means they're sometimes true. So what would make these rectangles different? What makes these rectangles different? Well, I see some long rectangles, and I see some short rectangles, and medium rectangles. So our rectangles can be different sizes. Doesn't matter whether it's a big, medium, or large, small, medium, or large rectangle. Now our rectangles also can be different this way. They're all different colors. We could have purple rectangles, white rectangles, green rectangles, polka dot rectangles. It doesn't matter. Some rectangles might be different colors or patterns. Dots, stripes, it just doesn't matter. And another thing that makes our rectangles different is they can be turned in different directions. It doesn't matter what my rectangle looks like. It's still a rectangle, no matter how I turn it. So another non-defining attribute is some rectangles might be turned in different directions. And that's okay. So we've looked at defining and non-defining attributes. Defining attributes are always true. Non-defining attributes are sometimes true. Let's take a look at our shape attribute web. Here is a shape in the middle. Notice on our web we have 3 attributes at the top. These are the defining attributes. Every one of these shapes must have this. If you look at the bottom of the web, all of these attributes are non-defining. It's like our size, our color, whether it's thick or thin, long or short, green or blue, they're all non-defining because rectangles can be different this way, or any shape can be different this way. Let's go ahead and try to fill out our shape attribute web based on the shape you see in the middle. The name of the shape is a defining attribute. Write down the name of this shape. Then tell me the number of sides and the number of corners. At the bottom, you can skip the thickness because it's tough for us to tell just by looking at a picture. But tell me the color and tell me the size. Let's see if you can solve this shape attribute web. Go ahead and press that pause button. When you're done, press play. We'll see if we got the same answers. Let's see how you did. Did you know that this is a rhombus? A rhombus has 4 sides and 4 corners. Notice that the rhombus doesn't have to have a square corner. This corner is not a square. Our rectangle had to have a square corner. The rhombus doesn't have to have a square corner. Our rhombus is blue, and it's also large. I put large because it stretches out of the middle oval. So they're the defining attributes, and then these are the non-defining attributes. Go ahead and clear off your shape attribute web, and let's try one more. See if you can solve this one on your own. Go ahead and press the pause button while you finish this. When you're done, press play. See if you got it right. All right, let's see how you did. Did you know that this shape is called a hexagon? A hexagon has 6 sides and 6 corners. Those are the defining attributes. And then we have our color, yellow, and our size. I put large only because it stretches out of the oval. You could have put medium. That would have been okay. So our hexagon has defining attributes and non-defining attributes. Whew. All right, first grade. Today we looked at our attributes. We looked at how shapes can have defining attributes. Every shape must have it. And then there's non-defining attributes, where sometimes the shape can have it. So you're going to have some activities to practice in Seesaw today, so that you can become a shape mathematician. Go ahead and get started. I can't wait to see how smart you are.